Hello everyone, and welcome back to another modding tutorial. Audacity, get off the screen, what are you doing? Okay, so it's been a long time since the last episode, and what am I planning to do this episode? Let's do some basic tools. Yeah, I didn't really come into here with much of a plan. It's been a crazy month. I'm very busy at work, so haven't had a lot of free time, but hopefully we can get a little bit done today. So yeah, let's do some tools. First, I would like to address some issues. I've gotten many comments, mostly to do with my models don't work. To which I say, mine work just fine on 1.11.2. I don't know what the problem is. I've literally changed none of my code, created a 1.11.2 environment, loaded up the 1.11 code, and it works fine. So, I don't know, double check, make sure you didn't misspell anything, make sure you've got all the files in the right spot. The model system is incredibly picky. If you make the slightest error, it explodes. You need to be very careful when working with models. And yes, I know these colored blocks are not something we've actually covered yet. That'll be in a later video, but everything works fine for me. So there was nothing that changed for model rendering in 1.11.2. The fact that I was on 1.11 before is meaningless. Still, I don't mind trying to help, but the number of errors we've had is kind of crazy. Still, I understand. I remember when 1.8 first came out and how I literally spent several days trying to figure out how to get all my blocks and items to render properly. It was a nightmare. I admit that. Okay, so I guess I could go ahead and stick with this 1.11 environment, or 1.11.2. I've still got 1.11 if I need to cross-reference anything really quickly. But considering my level of experience with tools, I think we'll be okay. So, tools. When I say tools, I mean a bit more than just the things that extend item tool. I also include swords and hoes, although it's kind of debatable. So, the way Minecraft works is, say, we'll have the item pickaxe class, for instance, and this extends item tool, as does, I think they use spade for shovels. Yes, and then we have item axe as well, and these all extend item tool. You could extend item tool yourself, but you'd really be doing yourself a favor if you can extend the vanilla item pickaxe, item spade, and item axe classes, because then your tools will work with other mods. The way Tinker's Construct does it, if you're wondering, is they just extend item tool on everything, if I remember correctly. They do not extend the vanilla classes, which is why Tinker's tools don't really work in a lot of places that other tools will. So, let's see. Oh, and I totally forgot the text size again. Let's go ahead and bump that up. I haven't had anyone complain about 2 levels up. Let's hope that's okay, because that is really huge to me. Okay, so let's leave mod items open. And, okay, so we're going to need to make a tool material. And let me go ahead and just make one in the mod items class, I suppose. So we're going to create a public static final tool material. I think it is, yes. And to create this, we actually need to do enum helper, allegedly. Why do you not like final? Tool material. It would help if I gave it a name. Let's just call it tool material. So we need to do enum helper. Am I crazy? Okay, I don't know what Eclipse is doing. It's confused, maybe because this is a new environment, but it is enum helper.add tool material. Okay, so Yeah, this is kind of a case where I wish I had something open to reference. Creating tool materials is not something I do very often because I don't really use them for anything. It's just kind of a necessary formality. Okay, so I did actually use my mod ID here. So let's go ahead and do tutorial.resource prefix and just add, I don't know, it's just abbreviate tutorial material there. I don't know why. And of course, everything's all messed up now. Okay, so we gave it a name. Now let's give it a harvest level. So in vanilla, harvest levels go from 0 to 3 inclusive, where 0 is wood, 1 is stone, 2 is iron, and 3 is diamond. Let's just go ahead and give ours a harvest level of 4. Max uses is how much durability it has. Diamond's about 1,561, I think. Iron's about 250. Let's give ours, I don't know, 2,048. Efficiency is how quickly it digs through materials, and if we, let's actually just look at the tool material here. Okay, it's not the most readable format here. The max uses, then efficiency, so diamond is 8. So let's just make ours a bit better than diamond. Let's make it 10. Damage is how much damage it deals to entities, so I don't know, diamond's 3, we'll do 4. Enchantability is how good it is in an enchanting table. I don't know, let's just do 16. And we'll just auto format that so it'll wrap onto screen. So that's our tool material. Tool materials are a good way to provide basic stats to tools. If you're not doing anything fancy like Silence Gems or Tinker's Construct does, using a tool material to set all the properties of your tool is fine. However, and this is a very big however, do not reference the tool material for anything ever. If you're wanting your mod to, say, use tools from another mod, referencing the tool materials is a very, very bad way to get the properties of that tool. Because, like I said, not all tools use tool materials. And yes, that is a big annoyance of mine, being the author of Silence Gems. My tools, as you may have seen before, use that fake tool material. And I set the harvest level to 1, which is the equivalent of a stone pickaxe, so that you can use these in, like, the progressive automation machines. Because progressive automation checks the tool material. So, again, it's a big headache. When mods are checking tool materials like that, there are alternatives to that. And we'll probably look into that a little bit. So just remember that. Do not check the tool material ever. Use it to create your tools and nothing else. Okay, now that I've vented my frustration, why don't we create an actual tool class here? So let's go into our... create a new class, maybe in our item package or in a sub package of it. So let's create a tool sub package in there. And we will call this item tutorial pickaxe. Just start with the classic pickaxe. Make it extend item pickaxe. I guess technically we don't even need to extend the pickaxe just to make a basic pickaxe. Let's actually just go ahead and try to register a pickaxe. Although I guess, yeah, we can still register the model and everything here, so it's okay. So let's create an item pickaxe, call it tutorial pickaxe. We will initialize that down here. Set a registry name, new resource location, All the usual stuff. And I'll just go ahead and type pickaxe in there for now. And game registry.register, and I do see the compiler error up there. We need to pass that our tool material. This is not what I meant to do. And what's your problem now? Not visible. Okay, and this is why it's bad to do things on the fly. So yeah, we do actually need our custom class. So let's go ahead and do new tutorial pickaxe and pass it our tool material. We could optionally just manually enter it here, which I guess is what I'll do. Now, if you wanted to use the same class for multiple pickaxes, passing them different tool materials, you'd probably want to leave that in the constructor. Okay, so we could optionally give the constructor tool material. I'm not going to. I'm just going to call super mod items dot Did anything else go wrong? Hello? Mod items dot tutorial material tool material. Duh. Okay, and that should fix everything over here. So we now should have a very basic pickaxe. It'd probably be good to create some models for it as well. So I don't know if there's anything special about the basic vanilla textures. And I just have all these extracted to my folder. These are from 1.9, but they should still work. Let's take, I don't know, iron pickaxe, copy that. Paste you in there. And I named the item pickaxe up here. I guess that's okay. I mean, we got our mod ID prefixed, so whatever. Let's open that up. So we got room for a texture. And that needs to be in this kind of format. So we'll just call our texture pickaxe and let me grab the gold pickaxe. Paste that into our texture folder, rename it pickaxe. Oh, and in Windows, the shortcut for renaming a file is F2, which is how I did that, if you're wondering. Let's, I probably should have picked a different color. Go ahead and magic wand the pickaxe head. Did I get all of it? I think those 2 pixels here count as well. Okay, let's do Control-Shift-U, make you, I don't know, let's go with that. -160. Okay, so we should now have a texture and a model in place, ready to go. Let me go ahead and select the project, hit F5 to make sure it sees the new files that were created outside of Eclipse, and let's go ahead and try running it, see what happens. And yes, I know I'm being kind of bad by not really planning this out in advance. It's just the time is so limited. All right. It is not even a thing. You know, I just realized I didn't bother to register the model, but that doesn't explain why the item is not showing up at all. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a names constant. Okay, there we go, a name. Let's go ahead and replace that here. Again, that shouldn't really have any negative effects at all. Let me go ahead and create a quick helper method for registering the model, at least. Okay, so we will need two parameters, the item and a name for it. Create a model resource location. Tutorial.resource prefix plus the name, subtype or variant type inventory, whatever it is. Model loader.register item variant, the item and the model. And let's go ahead and pass that to Mesher as well. Mesher.register item 0 model. So basically the same thing that we're doing up here. So let's register a model for our pickaxe. Just like that. And we could do something very similar up here for registering the items, which I guess I could do that really quickly. Alright, there we go. A nice generic method for registering items. So we can replace this with register new item tutorial pickaxe. And pass it names.pickaxe. There we go, that's a lot cleaner. Okay, so I don't think that'll actually fix the pickaxe not appearing. I don't know why that's happening. Oh, well, I imagine a large part of it is not actually putting it in a creative tab. So why don't we add that to our new register method here. So let's also do item.setCreativeTab tutorial.tab tutorial. There we go. Now any items we register through this method in the future will be automatically added to our creative tab, and I won't wonder where they went. I know I'm so bad about remembering the creative tabs because A, all of my mods have it automized, and B, I typically just use JEI. I guess that's one bad thing about how I always use my own library mod. I forget all these little things about how stuff is registered and how it works, because it's all just automated. So there we go, there's our pickaxe. It doesn't have a name, but that's okay. And it should be able to mine pretty much anything. So we should be able to mine obsidian with this. Yep. And since it extends the vanilla item pickaxe class, we could also run it through an enchanting table. I don't know, let's just plop one down really quickly. And it got Fortune 1 on it, because I don't have any bookshelves around the table, but that was just for a demonstration. So just like that, we made a very, very basic pickaxe, and you could do the same thing for, say, shovels, axes, by just extending the respective class, feeding the tool material into the constructor, and you've got a very basic tool. So I'm curious, why is this constructor protected? Huh, well, the items class has no trouble calling it. But either way, if you're curious, you can go through the pickaxe class and look at how it does its work. This gigantic method here is... I don't think that's something that's really used outside of vanilla. The get strength versus block, that is basically a getter for the digging speed. You'll also see that the item tool constructor it calls has a list of materials that is effective on, or actually it's a set of blocks in this case that's effective on, which again, that's not something you really see outside of vanilla. If we do look at the item tool class, you'll notice it's setting this tool class variable here, which is a string. That's actually... okay, yeah, it's actually in the Forge section of the item tool. This section here is stuff that was added by Forge. So here we have the get harvest level method, and this is why I was saying do not use the tool materials outside of creating your tool. This harvest level getter is what you want to call if you need to get the harvest level on a tool, because the tool material may not be accurate for all tools. The tool classes thing is kind of another thing Forge does. You can set blocks to be harvested by certain tools, as I don't know if we've actually seen it in our tutorial block. Yes, we have actually. So you saw we passed a pickaxe string in, and that's the tool class that it can be harvested by. So any item tool that has tool class pickaxe will be able to harvest this block, assuming it's a harvest level of 1 or higher. So again, use the getter methods in the tools. Do not use the tool materials to get these properties. Yes, the tool materials have a harvest level attached to them, but that is not always accurate. So looking beyond pickaxes, shovels, and axes, you can create hoes, and again, it takes a tool material. This constructor is actually public, so I guess you wouldn't even need to extend it. Let's take a look at swords as well. Again, they take a tool material, and this one is also public, so you may be able to get away without extending item sword if you don't need to do anything too special with it. So I'm not even going to show creating the other tool classes here. I might fill in a couple more outside the video. I guess one other thing that we could fix is the unlocalized name here, which how do you actually use the set unlocalized name? I'm trying to remember if you need to do the resource prefix or what. Let's try that. Okay, so yeah, that did actually do what I wanted it to do. item.tutorial::pickaxe.name, and then you just fill that into your localization file and give it the proper name. So there we go. I'm happy with what we did. Our tutorial pickaxe class basically does nothing except provide a wrapper to call that protected constructor. Everything else is just done in the mod items class, pretty much. And that's how you make basic tools. Pretty simple, really. So I think that's about all I should do for this video here. I'm glad I finally had a chance to get something else recorded. I think it went well, considering I didn't plan ahead at all. I do apologize for the angry rants, which What can you do? That ToolMaterial thing is one thing that just drives me crazy all the time. There are a handful of big mods that do stuff like that. So again, thanks for watching. For anyone who's having model errors, I do hope you can resolve the issues. Again, just triple, quadruple, quintuple check everything. I know I hate the JSON system. I may have actually provided a card linking to one of my older videos where I was first working on 1.8. I think it took me 3 or 4 days to get most of my blocks and items rendering in Silence Gems. It was a nightmare. I hate the JSON system to this day. But we're stuck with it. What can you do? So thanks for watching again, and I'll see you next time.